Hello everyone, Matt from Model Minutes here, and welcome back to the workbench for another unboxing. Today I'm taking a look at this, the De Havilland Vampire T.11 in 1/72 scale from Airfix. So join me on the workbench as I take a look inside the box and see what this kit is like. So starting off, we can see that this is actually a gift set, not a starter set. It is a gift set. Airfix have changed how they sort of assign starter sets, and there are specially designed starter sets now in the range. So anything like this is technically classed as a gift set. On the front here, we've got this image of the vampire in flight, and one small image here, which is just the paint scheme that's included. We are indicated that we have some paints and brushes included, and we'll look at those shortly. And we have an item code of A68225, which effectively means it's like a special run product. Typically, these kind of kits here in the UK are released at different seasons, different periods throughout the year, and are retailed in discount supermarkets. On the edge here, we've got some health and safety information in different languages. And on this edge here, we have some information about the actual T11 vampire. We do have some dimensions. The length apparently is 146 millimeters, a width of 161, and there are 55 parts included. One paint scheme annotated, and we have a cartograph logo, which tells me that there are cartograph decals, which should be to a good quality. Skill level of 1, so Airfix thinks this is one of the easier kits in the range. The edge of the box features the same information as we've seen previously, just to identify it on the shelf. Flipping over to this side of the box, you can see we have our color, painting, and decal placement instructions. It doesn't look to be an overly complicated aircraft, seeing as we have two lots of 11 included, a 53 which is a aluminium, and 33 which is black. So if in essence this is going to be silver overall with some little bits of black picked out, so a fairly easy paint scheme to do. Something that I like to see from Airfix is that they do actually put our tooling and design dates on the box. So this is a 2013 tooling, but the pack design is from 2024. So this was a 2024 production run for the festive season of 2024, which was when I picked this one up. One paint scheme included, which is for a 14 Squadron Royal New Zealand Air Force example. It does tell us that it's made in the UK and India. What is worth noting is that we didn't see any flying hour coupons on this box. For some reason, Airfix no longer include them on these particular gift sets. But with no further ado, let's get inside the box. You can see I've not even had this one open yet and see what it's like. You can see that my box is slightly bowed out, but that's probably because of the way they've put things inside. So in here then, that is everything. We have, well, let's look at the things that are available to us right now. We have one paintbrush, missing its like sleeve. Normally they come with a sleeve to protect the nib. It has sort of sprayed out a little bit, but it's okay. This is a number 2 thickness. And yeah, these brushes, they're acceptable, but they're, they'll be okay. This is an overall sort of silver aircraft. So I think that this fine brush may not be the best thing for it, but I think it is usable. We also have our accessories, and I am going to look at them because I've experienced problems with them in the past. So, one tube of poly cement. Generally, not the best cement in the world, but it works. There is a slightly weird like dust on the outside of this, but the cement appears, it's fine. It's usable. Not a problem with that. We also have our 4 paints. 2 lots of 11, which is a silver, and a 53, which is our, is it gunmetal? I think 53 is gunmetal and 56 is aluminium, and then 33 is matte black. These are all in the sort of flappy top lids rather than the old style lids, well, the old new style. So if you ever get them like this is from a different set, and they haven't got like the flappy bit on the outside, these pots in my right hand have a design flaw, which causes them to dry out. Fortunately, they've since replaced them into these pots, which should be better designed, so hopefully all the paint inside is still perfectly fine. And we open that one. Yeah, that's all nice and wet, so it just needs a mix and that'll be good to go. That one is exactly the same, just needs a mix. Personally though, I probably won't use these paints because I think I've got better quality ones available to me, which I'll probably end up using. 53, that's usable, that's still wet. And 33 matte black. is good. All good in there. So yeah, 4 for 4. Fantastic. Nice to see that they're addressing the quality control issues with the paints. So let's put them to one side. We have our instructions, which are to the normal format from Airfix, where we have some information about the actual vampire at the top, safety information underneath that, and then we flip over the page. Again, some more information, the key to the symbols here, and then we start construction. You can see that it's printed in black and white with some small elements of colour, but not a great deal. But the painting numbers are included, so you can go through and pick out the relevant ones. Naturally, because there's only 4 paints included, it's suggested those 4 paints at appropriate places, but you may want to get more paints in order to build this to a higher standard. We do come down to here, we do our cockpit, we do our pilots, we install that inside the fuselage. Don't forget to add weight in the nose to prevent it from sitting on its tail. But we do get down to here, and it makes reference to the old display stands, and I've had a look online. I can't find them anywhere. I haven't seen these display stands for a good number of years now, maybe close to a decade. So don't know where they are. I don't know if Airfix is planning to reintroduce them at some point, but most modern kits that they release don't even allow for this display stand to be included. But yeah, it's worth noting, no display stand is included. You'll have to source one yourself if you want to use one. Moving on, we've got our air intake and the fan for our jet engine. The sort of cowlings for our air intake. These parts are joined together. The exhaust goes on the back. Then we have our wings. The upper wing surface goes on. Then our twin tail booms are assembled, and you'll see the landing gear leg goes in here, which is quite an intelligent design. We then add our nose wheel bay, our lower wing surfaces, and that previous assembly on there. We can install drop tanks or extended range tanks if we want, so there's holes that we need to drill open for those, and those extended range tanks get glued together. We can then come down to either installing our wheels in a lowered position or installing the landing gear covers in a raised position so we can display the aircraft in flight. It does come with pilots by the looks of it, so that would be handy to do. We install our fuel tanks if we want to. Again, you don't have to if you don't want to. That's why the question mark exists. And then we install our clear parts. And our clear parts have the option to be in an open or closed position as well. So that's quite nice. And that's the instructions. The inside bit here just sort of folded out with more safety information. Yeah, up to the sort of normal standard we can expect from Airfix, perhaps missing a little bit more colour that they put in their more modern releases. Decals then. So we have one moderate size of decals, not a great deal on here, printed by Cartograph. They look to be to the normal quality we can expect to see from Cartograph. Printing is nice and legible. I can't see any blemishes or tears. So yeah, I have experienced these before in the past, and they are absolutely fine to apply to the model. So we'll put those to one side, and then we'll look at the plastic parts. All of which come contained within this plastic bag. And the clear parts come in a second bag, which keeps them nice and safe and should help prevent any damage to them. So we'll have a look at the clear parts first then. One little sprue, and you can see that we have our front windscreen, the rear part of our cockpit canopy, our main canopy, which can be open or closed, and some smaller detail parts as well, which are probably like gun size. The moulding is pretty crisp. There is not much in the way of mold release. It doesn't feel greasy or anything. However, you might be able to notice, if I just have a look here, along here there's a slight scratch on this this clear part, which is a little bit of a shame, but not massively noticeable. It sort of runs across there. The clear parts are relatively clear, but due to their moulding, they're not the clearest I've seen, but they look okay. The raised details are reasonably proud, so relatively easy to mask. Yeah, not too bad. Little bit, I think there's just like a tiny little bit of flash in a few little places, just tiny little bits that'll just need cleaning up. But yeah, generally not too bad, especially given that this has been molded quite a few times. Well, actually, this one's got a bit of a scratch across there as well, across there, which is interesting. And this one actually, a slight blemish going that way. But yeah, no, okay, it's usable. It's absolutely usable. Oh, wow. Have you just seen what I've seen? So, coming on to the parts. Right, what is going on here? Wow. Can you see that on the wing? Look at that. Oh yeah, wow, that's so oily. So like I was told that a lot of the time when they use mold release now, they do it as like a pellet additive into the grains of plastic when they're molding the parts. But you can see there is something on here. I've literally just taken this out of the bag. You can see that oil on there. That is horrendous. That's an awful lot of oil. This kit, and there's some over here. There's some over here as well. So I don't know what's going on, but this is one of the oiliest model kits I have ever seen. Wow. It's on the chair as well. This is a lot, isn't it? They clearly were trying to protect the... Oh, there's blobs on this side. Oh, wow. This is going to need a wash. I have never seen a kit with this much mold release on it. At least I hope it's mold release. Right. Well, you have 3 sprues molded in dark grey plastic, which is quite typical from Airfix these days. This sprue, which is sprue B, has our upper wing surfaces, and you can see they're molded to a good quality. Flash doesn't seem to be particularly present, despite the fact this has had quite a few production runs. Level of detail is quite nice as well. We've got recessed panel lines, a few little rivet details in places too. The plastic, other than being incredibly greasy, is relatively dense, but not overly so. Has a little bit of flex in it. Doesn't feel particularly brittle. The level of detail is quite good. We have like our chairs, wheels. My control column here is falling off the sprue, so it's just as well it came in the bag. And then if we flip over, you can see there's a little bit of flash here on our engine exhaust, but that's not going to be too major. Inside, we've got a little bit of interesting detail for our wheel wells. Ejector pin marks here are on the internal edges, which hopefully aren't going to be visible, but may need a little work to clean them up just in case they're a bit proud. Yeah, not too bad mold quality wise, but that amount of mold release or oil of some description is pretty horrendous. This sprue then, again, we've got a few little blobs of this mold release or oil here and there, which is a little bit frustrating. But we have our tail surface. Internal cockpit area has a little bit of detail. And then if we flip over, we've got even more. Oh, wow. Look at that. That's a lot of mold. That's horrendous. That's a lot of mold release. Interestingly, if this is focus, there's some like weird scratches or textures here. So I don't know what that's about. It almost looks like the mold has, not the mold, the plastic has rippled in the mold. A bit weird. Hopefully not noticeable in the finished model. It might need a little bit of sanding to clean up, but that's a bit weird. I mean, it is understandable that over time some imperfections creep into the mold due to the sheer amount of time and production runs that have been going on. But that's a strange texture there that I wouldn't expect to see. Yeah, moving on. Internal cockpit area. So these are the lower wings with some molded rivet details, and again an awful lot of mold release on there. That's horrendous. This is going to need a proper wash. And then the final sprue, which has our tail surfaces. This has like the pitot tube molded on, but it's like flexed up, so that might need a little bit of readjustment. The pilots look oily as well. They look like they've got some mold release on them. There's some big blobs there. Drop tanks, and yeah, I mean, mold quality wise, it looks okay. There's not like an excessive amount of flash. There's not too many scuffs and things, which you kind of expect from kits that have been manufactured a lot. There's a little bit of cleanup required, but the level of details is pretty good. But what I cannot get over is the like oil on this. It's just so much of it. It's like unnecessary. That's crazy. I've never seen a kit with that much oil on it. But I guess I'll have to deal with that. Hopefully yours isn't as bad, but yeah, definitely may need a wash. So let's wrap this up. We had 3 grey plastic sprues molded to a reasonably good quality. Not much in the way of flash. Detail looks good, and should build up into a nice model, but it needs a massive wash. We have Our clear parts, which again molded to a good quality, but with some little blemishes in a few places. Instructions printed to a good standard with our instructions and exploded diagrams, relatively easy to follow. Cartograph decals, which look to be absolutely fine, and I don't anticipate having any problems with those. Our cement was usable. Our brush, probably not perfect for this aircraft to work with, fine details and larger areas, but should be, acceptable as a minimum. And then we had 4 paints, technically 2 silvers, 1 gunmetal and 1 black. So you're not going to get a great deal of different things out of this because you've only got 3 different colors to pick from. I probably won't be using them. I'll be doing this as a different project. And all of that came contained within this box, which I love the artwork on this. I've actually built one of these before in the past. I built a starter set version, but I don't think we'll ever see a starter set version again. I think we'll only see gift set versions because this is technically no longer a starter set. Painting and decal placement instructions are on the back, which is really good. So let's talk a little bit about the history of this kit. Original tooling date, as we discussed, was from 2013. Supposedly. Model design in 2013. So if that was the initial release of it, on ScaleMates, for some reason, they seem to think that it was a 2012 release, but I imagine that may have been the year that it was announced as it was going to come into the range. So there are different versions of this. There was a starter set version, which was just this, but as a starter set, but you can't get that one anymore. I think it's effectively being discontinued as a starter set because they have a new starter set range. Now you'll find it as a gift set like this. There are different versions out there with different paint schemes, which makes it maybe a little bit more complicated, and they are available or have been available as well. I think originally, if you wanted to get something like this as a starter set, it would have cost you £11.99 as the RRP, but they seem to be out of stock and discontinued, so I couldn't confirm that for sure. However, I'm pretty sure I paid about £6.99 for this in the discount supermarket, which is an absolute bargain, despite some of the extra work I'm going to have to do to make sure the parts are usable by washing off all of that that mod release or whatever. But yeah, so no, £6.99 for a relatively newish tool. I mean, it's not like the latest of Airfix. It's okay. It's a reasonably good standard. I remember building this back when I first started my channel and thinking it was a pretty good kit back then. The fit, from what I remember, was pretty decent. So what have I got planned with mine? Well, actually, I've been out and I've bought some extra decals from Extra Decal. I think these may have actually cost more than the kit itself, so that's interesting. But I was going to do one of these other paint schemes. There's quite a few different paint schemes in here, so I'll probably do a different one because I've already built this one before. So that's my plan, is to do this with a different paint scheme. But yeah, I think we'll probably wrap this one up here. This is a kit which I've built before. I've experienced it before. It was relatively nice to do, but just cannot believe the sheer amount of mold release that I've encountered on this. Or, if it's not mold release, it's something else. Definitely needs to clean this up. But yeah, let me know down in the comments what you thought of my review and if my assessment of this kit was fair, especially given that it's not exactly going to break the bank. As always, a quick shout out to my Model Club members for the extra support they give the channel. Massive thanks to these guys on screen. If you'd like to join them or support the channel in other ways, take a look at the links in the description. The best way to support the channel for free, though, is by subscribing with notifications turned on so you never miss a modelling upload. Finally, though, last thing to say is a massive thank you to you for watching this one, and I'll see you on the workbench again next time.